Thanks for checking out another clip of the Cashflow Contractor. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. Click subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Yesterday, I almost tweeted this out. I almost said, if you know a small business owner, give them a hug today. Because I had three different things come up. One was talking to someone who has a ton of their production in Mexico. And this past Friday, Trump, their tariffs were 25% and they jumped to 50% for steel. And just overnight, like, okay, well, we're bringing in a new shipment and it's a $90,000 shipment. And so we just paid $45,000 to the U.S. government.
Yeah.
And
we did an episode on tariffs just a few weeks, I don't know how long ago. But
yeah,
I was actually I heard a snippet from it, which is why I remember it really well.
Yeah.
But you don't have to know much about tariffs to know that they're just stupid. And I feel comfortable saying that because guys like Adam Smith identified them and Frederick Bastiat. And there are places, where you don't want to punish somebody for doing something bad actors like Chinese stealing all your intellectual property, but they are a tax on us. We are the ones who pay the tariffs.
Well, and I think that's a hard thing as a small business owner. For this specific person, they're in kind of a higher end market, and things already cost quite a bit, and they do get pushback when they raise prices. So to raise it, and they've been eating the tariffs up to 25%. They've just been kind of handling it themselves. They've been doing some things with their suppliers in Mexico to try to, get it taken down. But for the most part, they're eating that cost. But now you start eating a 50% increase in your cost of goods sold. It becomes really hard to make it.
They call it untenable. And besides, I'm impressed if they could absorb a 25% increase. They must have some pretty good margins.
They do have good margins. But
so they're greedy
anyways,
capitalists.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's one thing. So the next thing that came up, someone we know got a really great client. It's a builder they do subcontracting work for, and high-end builder works with, really great clientele and the billions of dollars of net worth, and gets his first job with them. If he succeeds, he knows they've had conversations about it turning into multiple projects every year, essentially. He outsources some of his drafting.
I think I know who we're talking about because I had a long conversation with him yesterday. Yeah,
me too. So I had this conversation with him, and essentially the drafter, it does, good for him. But there was a huge mistake that he made on this project. And so essentially shows up to install with the builder there, all this kind of stuff, and it just doesn't fit the measurements. Yeah. And that's just a short way of describing what happened, but I mean, just gets chewed out.
There was a great takeaway from that yesterday. Mm-hmm. Having lived through exactly that before with products we built, completely wrong, disaster, messes up somebody else's timeline. The person we're talking about, one of his statements was, "I've lost this client. He bombed this major league client." I said, not necessarily so. If you behave properly, that's not a warranty, but let's call it a warranty. Behave properly. Don't try to throw somebody under the bus. Say, look, I'm on it. This is unfortunate. I see what happened. We're on it, and we're going to make this right. And they're going, was it the last time you'll ever set foot? All that kind of stuff. There's a very good chance that it goes away and you keep the customer because you behaved properly. And
that's exactly what I told him. I said, hey, listen, when you talk to him, you say, listen, I'm going to do whatever. He already said all this stuff, but I'm going to do whatever I can to make this right. And I want you to know that you're seeing us at our worst, and I want you to see how we respond in our worst.
Yeah.
And from here on out, you are going to get our absolute best.
Yeah.
So I don't know what your experience is like with other contractors at their worst, but I want to make this the best experience possible when it's at our worst.
Yeah.
So that now you can trust us if things go wrong, you'll know how you get treated.
In that company I was talking about where we used to sell machinery and they would sometimes fail, it was always a big ass disaster, Cost us about $70,000 to fix. It was a hydraulic system. If something blows up in a hydraulic system, you got to clean or replace everything because fine material goes through and it can't tolerate that and all that. Then we go out there and do that. We just told ourselves, this is an opportunity to prove that we're good to our word. And we just kept repeating that until we got in a trance. This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity. What a great opportunity. I don't want any more opportunities like this. But yeah, you don't necessarily lose them. You might, and maybe probably, I don't know, but behave properly at all times. And a lot of times
I think that whenever you go into these situations, as a small business owner, it feels like the end of the world. Like it really does. And I don't want to downplay that because when you've got this opportunity ahead of you for multiple projects and the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's going to be a great contact that's going to lead to new contacts and it is going to bolster your reputation, and it does the exact opposite, where now your best clientele knows that you screwed up on this job in a huge way and this builder's never going to use you again, and they're super upset, and you made the most basic mistake of getting measurements wrong and not just like a little bit wrong, like really wrong.
Actually, he didn't. The proper directions were on the drawings.
No, I know.
Yeah, but he just cut them wrong.
Yeah, they were cut. Yeah,
but he did not throw the guy under the bus. He
didn't. And I think that's important. You take accountability as the business owner, not saying, oh, well, it's that guy's fault. No, it's your responsibility. You take ownership. And it just feels like such a gut punch. I mean, you feel awful and you're sitting there just taking it all. And it's tough because you're thinking about what is this going to do for our reputation? And I think that's a really big point is as a small business owner, your reputation is almost everything. It really is. And that's why you do have to behave properly at all times, right?
This brings to mind, it's kind of changing the subject, but not much. And that is something I've been thinking a lot about, I've written about, I'm going to be speaking about in the future, is that business owners are the source of all abundance, right? I mean, they are. We don't have to prove that, but anybody wants to debate it, we can do that. But it's from a portion of profits that everything comes, right? The armies, legal system, pharmaceutical, healthcare, education, roads, everything comes. And that means that business really is the source of abundance, the earthliest source. I've said that before. Yeah. But one of the things I've been thinking about is when you're the business owner, you get up in the morning and you shoulder your burdens with absolutely no guarantee that you will be paid. Everybody you're involved with comes ahead of you. Your suppliers, the taxes, your employees, your customer, everybody comes ahead of you. They get paid first. If there's anything left over, you might get paid.
Yeah.
They get their share in cash. If you make your profit, very often it's not cash. It's tied up in inventory and receivables and all the things that we talk about. And the reason I bring that, and this is another example, something goes wrong. It's not even the guy's fault who screwed up. It's our guy's fault. And no guarantees. And the reason I bring that up is it's not okay to not make money in your business. If you're like many people, hopefully you're not, but there are people listening who take draws and don't take a salary and don't always take a draw because they don't always have cash. That is not okay. You're taking all the risk and you're benefiting others with a 7% profit deal. 93% of what you do is going to somebody else. 7% comes to you before taxes. Everybody else benefits, you take all the risk. It is not okay that you are not compensated for that. And so the reason that came up is in my mind was this man we're talking about took the risk of that. I mean, that's all his risk. It's on him.
Yeah.
He's got to fix it. It's going to cost him. It already cost him. It's going to cost him again. And it's on him. If you're listening out there and you're lowballing your prices and all that, don't do it. You've got to make enough money to justify all that risk that you're taking.
Thanks for checking out a clip from the Cashflow Contractor. We have full episodes where we go deep on topics that help you grow a construction business that runs without you so you can have less stress, more time, more money. Now, we've got other videos, other clips, but if you want to check out the full episode for this clip, you can click wherever our editor put it. It might be here, it might be there, it might be over my face, I don't know. But thank you for checking us out. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. So subscribe or check out a full episode wherever you get podcasts.